Hello, my friends, the Wisdom Seeker. My name is John, and I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you to our YouTube channel. In this episode, I would like to introduce to everyone the book, Successful Living with Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn had an impact on more than 5 million people around the world. Before his death in December 2009, thousands looked up to him as a mentor, including Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Harvey Mackay, Mark Victor Hansen, and others. Because he could take timeless, ageless principles and present them in such a simple way, Jim was one of the most powerful and memorable listening experiences ever. This special edition of Jim's My Philosophy for Successful Living continues to have a positive impact today. It's Jim at his best, with lessons such as Girl Scout cookies and the American economic ladder, performance and productivity philosophy, measuring success in your financial house, 6 steps to living an extraordinary life. There's a lot more. I truly believe Jim Rohn is a remarkable human being whose philosophy can improve anyone's quality of life. Anthony Robbins. Chapter 1. Girl Scout cookies and the American economic ladder. When I was 25, I learned an interesting economics axiom. This axiom essentially stated that we are compensated for adding value to the marketplace. The general idea is that if you add value to the marketplace, no matter who you are, you will be rewarded. This is the way the market operates. I started self-education when I was 25 and was a millionaire by the time I was 31. I believe it was due in part to the fact that I had fully embraced this concept. Keep in mind the truth about the market. The marketplace isn't some enigmatic, unfathomable maze of perplexity. The marketplace, on the other hand, is made up of people. But this was only the start of my journey. I discovered a 2-part, life-altering fact. First and foremost, you will be compensated for what you bring to the marketplace, and second, you will be compensated for who you become. You will be compensated for your contribution if you become a leader, supervisor, or entrepreneur. As I previously stated, you are compensated for both what you bring and what you become. It's important to remember that, with the exception of monopolies, businesses will almost always strive to improve their products. Similarly, you must keep in mind that you are your own product. The essence of personal development is realizing and accepting this fact. It was difficult for me to sleep after I realized the possibilities of personal development. In fact, for the first year, I didn't get much sleep, because at that point, I realized something important. Formal education gets you a job, but self-education gets you rich. You won't learn about the importance of self-education and investing in your own personal development in high school or even college. However, I cannot emphasize enough how important this is to your success. Allow me to provide some additional context for my personal story. I dropped out of school at the age of 19 because I thought I was smart enough to get a job. However, as soon as I started a family, the money just wasn't there. When I was 25, I realized that I needed to make a change. One day, I heard the best sales pitch I'd ever heard, and I immediately wanted to buy the product being sold. The great sales pitch in this case, believe it or not, came from a Girl Scout, and the product was a $2 box of cookies. The issue was that I didn't have the $2 on hand. I informed her that we had consumed all of our Girl Scout cookies. I felt terrible about deceiving a Girl Scout about purchasing a $2 box of cookies. Something had to change at that point, I knew. I set out to find a mentor who could help me transform my life, determined to make that change. It wasn't just about figuring out how to make money. It was also about developing a way of life and learning how to provide a unique and valuable service to the market. I located my mentor, who immediately began deciphering and debunking all of my faulty assumptions. He pointed out that my strategy from the ages of 19 to 25 had failed miserably. He also told me that I needed to stop making excuses like taxes are too high, and he encouraged me to stop making excuses. His advice was to make a list of all of my excuses and then tear it apart. Then take a new piece of paper and write me on it. Dealing with what was inside of me was the solution to my problem. He explained to me that the key to solving my problems was to recognize the obstacles in my own thinking and approach, rather than listing the real and perceived obstacles in the outside world. This shift in perspective was the catalyst for my journey. One of the things I learned was that a person's personal income is primarily determined by his or her philosophy. Everything in your environment will change if you refine and change your philosophy. Of course, this includes your earnings. This strategy is effective and amazing. There is a reason why nearly everyone wants to come to America, and that reason is our incredible economic ladder. The American economic ladder includes people with annual incomes ranging from a few $1,000s to hundreds of millions. But how do you go from making a few $1,000s a year to a few $1 million? Isn't that, after all, the $1 million question? Once again, philosophy is the answer. You could wait for the government to raise the minimum wage, effectively adopting a government interventionist philosophy. However, if you rely on this to happen, you will never become a top earner. You can't rely on your employer to do it for you either. You could try a demand philosophy, in which you ask your employer for more money. This could help you earn more money. Will you, however, become a millionaire as a result of your efforts? No, you will never become a top earner using the philosophy of collective confrontation, even if you band together with other workers and go on strike. None of these approaches or philosophies will assist you in achieving your end goal. They simply do not work. It is possible to become wealthy in America, but only if you have the right mindset. So, what constitutes work? The fourth philosophy, which I refer to as the philosophy of performance and productivity, is what works. With this mindset, you do whatever it takes to better yourself and your abilities. You gain the ability to do and be more. If you use the performance and productivity philosophy, you own the entire economic scale because you have created new opportunities for yourself. If you work for a company, you will be more valuable, earning more, moving up the corporate ladder, and having more money, which will open up more opportunities for you. This could be a never-ending cycle of good fortune. You can go as far as you want because, especially in America, the possibilities are limitless. If you think doing so in America is difficult, think again. In Bangladesh, the average worker earns around $200 per year. If you have the erroneous belief that succeeding in America is too difficult, you have the wrong philosophy. That means you have to go through a self-education process. Another common misconception is that you can't significantly increase your income. This is also incorrect. There are people in America who earn $5 per hour. People earning $50 per hour, on the other hand, are easy to come by. Those earning $500 per hour, such as a high-powered attorney, can be found if you keep looking. It all comes down to bringing the right products to the market, and the prosperity ladder doesn't stop there. In fact, it continues to rise. Recognize that there are possibilities and that they are all around you as part of your self-education. Remember that your ability to wish, envision, and reimagine yourself and your possibilities determines your income. No one is restricted by the American economic ladder. You can own as much real estate, as many cars, and as many boats as you want in the United States. This is the philosophy's core. It all boils down to this: you make a living if you work hard at your job. You can make a fortune if you work hard on yourself. What is the significance of this truth? You don't set out to achieve success. You can attract success by becoming a more attractive person. You don't get rich by wishing your life were easier. Instead, you get rich by focusing on improving yourself. Chapter 2: Performance and Productivity Philosophy. Many people aspire to be wealthy and powerful. This is a subject that has gotten more than its fair share of attention over the centuries, and it will continue to do so long after this work is published. The answer to how to achieve wealth and greatness, on the other hand, is surprisingly simple. However, many people may be offended by the message. It boils down to helping others to achieve wealth and greatness. Find a way to help a large number of people. Simply put, this is how great wealth, power, and influence are attained. Don't ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country, said John F. Kennedy, a famous quote. This quote encapsulates what it takes to achieve financial independence and greatness. The secret to wealth is to consider what you can do for your family, your neighborhood, your state, your country, and the world. Take, for example, Zig Ziglar. If you help enough people get what they want, you can have everything you want, Zig says, and I've known him for nearly 50 years. You might think that this is far too simple to be correct, but it is. This is the great philosophy at the heart of life transformation. Invest in yourself, in your own self-education, and then use what you've learned to help others achieve their goals and objectives. You will gain power and financial independence as a result of this process. The world is changing at a breakneck pace right now. Take a look at the transformation that is taking place in China. There are now 235,000 millionaires in China. And can you guess where the new billionaires come from? India. These are extraordinary times, and there are unparalleled opportunities in every country on the planet. Competition is one aspect of this opportunity. For the first time in history, competition is truly global. This new level of competition brings with it a new level of opportunity. Many people are afraid of competition because they are afraid of the unknown. However, without this unprecedented level of competition, none of these new opportunities would exist. How can you ensure that you are indispensable in the new, dynamic, and ever-changing global marketplace of the 21st century? To begin, make sure you have more than one skill. Take a look at the auto industry in the United States over the last 15 to 20 years. Automobile manufacturers have been shutting down plants and laying off workers on a near daily basis. Those who lacked a wide range of skills were unable to compete. In short, it is now rare to find a specialist who works in the same field and in the same way from the age of 21 to 65. You'll be more adaptable to the whims of a changing and evolving marketplace if you have a diverse set of skills. After all, something that does not evolve will not prosper or survive. You greatly increase your value and worth in an ever-changing marketplace by having a diverse set of skills. Furthermore, with such a dynamic workplace on the horizon, you should strive to keep your current skills sharp while also developing new ones on a regular basis. This will give you a significant advantage and will help you avoid obsolescence. All of this information is directly related to how I became wealthy at the age of 31. I began investing in myself soon after I was unable to purchase that box of Girl Scout cookies. This necessitated the acquisition of new skills. I made a list of the skills I had available at the time, which were fairly limited. I thought about my childhood growing up on a farm in Idaho. I could certainly milk a cow, but let's just say it wasn't very lucrative. To be more and earn more, I knew I needed to learn more. Here's an example of how I broadened my horizons. I started teaching capitalism in Russia. Believe it or not, I realized there was a real vacuum in the former Soviet Union after communism fell away. My skills in teaching capitalism were quickly recognized as valuable in Russia. For example, in the last 12 years, I've been to Russia 5 times to assist people in making the transition from a centrally planned to a capitalist economy. One of the most important lessons I taught my students was that the philosophies of the rich and the poor are vastly different. For example, here's a philosophy that guarantees poverty. Spend what you have and invest the rest. The bottom line is that you will be poor if you pursue this strategy. On the other hand, here is the money-making philosophy. Invest what you have and spend the rest. You can have the same amount of money but achieve drastically different results due to a philosophical difference. Making money starts with having the right philosophy, but there are other steps to take as well, such as identifying your customers and selling them something you believe in. It was a nutritional supplement in my case. Second, figure out how to locate good people. A good team is essential to the success of a company. You won't be able to do everything. On this one, I drew inspiration from the Bible. A biblical lesson that has always stuck with me is that if you look hard enough, you can find good people. But you must be willing to look. Investing time and effort into finding good people will pay off in the form of finding quality people. This may appear to be a simple point, but it's one that many would-be entrepreneurs and employers overlook. You will have three options at this point. The first is your abilities. These abilities will enable you to assist others in improving their lives. Second, you have identified your target market and a high-quality product to offer them. Finally, if you take the time to find good people, you will have a pool of people who can assist you in your endeavor. Now you're ready to make money and change people's lives, both your own and those around you. Your employees are extremely important. After all, what could be more important than identifying the individuals with whom you will collaborate in order to realize your goals? Finding good people is difficult and time-consuming. You may be in for a challenge if they are independent thinkers, as this can be as difficult as herding cats. It's important to remember that herding sheep is simple, but you don't want to work with them. You're looking for go-getters with a strong sense of self-reliance. Almost nothing is impossible if you can get 2 or 3 people focused on the same task. That concept will almost certainly not be taught in schools, but it is a fact. This emphasizes the significance and long-term value of having good people on your team. To make money, you don't have to be General Motors or Microsoft. All you need to know how to multiply is to be reasonably bright, focused, and willing to work. Don't be afraid to enlist the help of someone else. This may be more difficult in some parts of the world, but it is simple in America. That is what distinguishes America. Whatever you set your sights on, you can make a living, perhaps even a good living, if you are the one doing it. You, on the other hand, want more than a decent living, or you wouldn't be reading this book. Getting someone else to do the work is the start of a fortune, plain and simple. Then teach someone else how to become wealthy, how to make money, how to sell things, and how to recruit. You'll be surprised at how good this makes you feel. It's unlike any other feeling to know that you've helped someone else achieve their goals. There is a never-ending cycle of benefit and rewards with the performance and productivity philosophy, and there is enough for everyone. Chapter 3: Working with Others. As you may have guessed, finding good people to work with and for you is an important part of changing your life and achieving financial success at the same time. There are a few more steps in this process, and we'll go over one that has the potential to drastically alter your earnings trajectory: reward and recognition. Rewarding people for small achievements is crucial to your long-term success. If you're a parent, you know how important it is to reward your children for their accomplishments. Why not do the same in business? The simple fact is that rewarding people for small, successful achievements can help you make a fortune. The wealth philosophy, as I like to refer to it, is as follows: you be so preoccupied with recognizing others that you forget about yourself. After that, devote some time to mastering the art of communication. One of the best investments you can make in yourself is to become a skilled communicator. You will be able to communicate your own needs and motivate your employees as a skilled communicator. Don't overlook the significance of this one. In a business setting, communication can take a variety of forms and yield varying levels of reward. 1. Training. The first level is training, which simply entails showing someone how your company and a specific job operate. It is simple to train. In fact, it's so simple that even children can do it. 2. Teaching. Teaching is the second level. This is a little more difficult. Teaching is the process of imparting knowledge to others through communication. If you're a good teacher, your students will develop new abilities and skills on their own. 3. Motivate. Then there's the third level of communication, which is learning to inspire others. Part of this entails assisting people in visualizing themselves as being better than they are now. This entails persuading people to look beyond where they are now and imagine where they might be in the future. This is what has the power to transform and change people's lives. Surprisingly, all of this focus on improving your ability to communicate with others helps you earn more money. This is all linked to the frantic pace of globalization. You probably need more than one language in the 21st century, just as you need more than one skill. To a non-linguistic culture like the United States, this is a bit of a shock. However, many people all over the world, particularly in Europe and Asia, speak multiple languages. This gives them a competitive advantage. In China, for example, millions of people are learning English as you read this book. I don't need a translator when I travel to Scandinavian countries. This procedure is already in progress. Keep in mind this additional fact. I have a number of colleagues who can speak 3 or even 4 languages and make millions in each of them. In business, communication is crucial, and communication is changing as a result of technological advancements. One of the most valuable gifts you can give your children is the ability to speak multiple languages. It is not impossible to learn additional languages. It's all a matter of mindset and focus, as it is with so much else in life. Consider this if you're still not convinced that learning a foreign language is in your and your family's best interest. Having multiple skills and languages is one of the best ways to create a financial barrier around your family. People who have multiple skills to offer and can offer those skills in multiple languages, for example, find it much easier to emigrate from one country to the next. Chapter 4. A quick review of the basics. Stay in school, study hard, get a job, and stay out of trouble. Most people here in school, but I was always left wondering, is that it? The answer is, of course, no. There is more to success than just following that simple statement, and there are also more options. It's important to remember that it's all about your philosophy and approach. Another concept that helped me become wealthy is that profits are preferable to wages. This does not rule out the possibility of having both. Profits are simply preferable to wages. Wages will allow you to make a living, but profits will allow you to make a fortune. The good news is that you don't have to choose between the two options. On the side, I started working for profit and fortune. I was working full-time, but I was also making progress toward financial success. I had a full-time job and was working part-time on my fortune. This is a simple task that anyone can complete. It is critical to learn the fundamentals or foundations of any job or task, regardless of what you are doing in life. You have no idea what's going on unless you have this ability. Making money isn't all that dissimilar. Let's take a look at the tried and true fundamentals that will help you make more money. First and foremost, be wary of anyone who claims to have a new money-making system or new fundamentals. It's likely that they don't have anything similar. The reason for this is that these fundamentals have been tried and true for a long time. The first step is to create a personal guidance system that includes things you will and will not do, people you will and will not associate with, and so forth. This guidance system will help you stay out of harm's way and on the right side of opportunity. While this may appear to be a simple concept, it can be quite complicated in real-life situations, just like the real world. You may be presented with opportunities that aren't a perfect match, and you may need to turn away, even if they appear appealing for some reason. After all, danger and opportunity frequently coexist. You'll be able to tell the difference between danger and opportunity if you're proactive and constantly evaluating new information. Take a look at humanity's recent history if you don't believe this dynamic between danger and opportunity is still alive and well. During our lifetime, the majority of the world has been ruled by what can only be described as outright tyranny. On one hand, there is liberty, and on the other, there is tyranny. Over the last 50 years, these two forces have been at odds. After all was said and done, liberty had won more than its fair share. We witnessed the fall of the Berlin Wall, the end of communism's reign, and the emergence of new dynamism among forces of liberty around the world. It hasn't always been easy or pretty, but there has been progress, and it has been significant progress. Much of the world now enjoys freedom. Yet, only 50 years ago, the majority of the world was ruled by tyranny. Tyranny is no match for liberty once it wakes up and gets to work. In an attempt to make communism work, Stalin murdered millions of people. The events infuriated the Western world. It's no surprise that Ronald Reagan referred to the Soviet Union as an evil empire. The state controlled all of the capital under the Soviet system, which made them far too powerful. Stalin and others like him were given carte blanche to do as they pleased, with often horrifying results. This conflict between liberty and tyranny, light and darkness, can also be seen in other aspects of life. In the realm of health, this is a good example. If you want to achieve your dreams and goals, you must keep your body strong and healthy. This aspect of success is frequently overlooked, but it is crucial for happiness and achievement. After all, how can you pursue your dreams and desires if you are exhausted or, worse yet, ill? Chapter 5: Refining and Strengthening Your Personal Philosophy. A key to success is learning from your own personal experiences. The ability to turn a setback into a positive learning experience can mean the difference between success and failure. In other words, learning from your own experiences is essential for refining and strengthening your personal philosophy. It is also critical that you learn from the experiences of others. This point could not be any clearer, but it is frequently overlooked. You can't possibly see everything. Taking the time to acknowledge the experiences, successes, and failures of others can assist you in achieving your goals. Failures and successes of all kinds, both your own and others, can teach you a lot. When you take the time to learn from other people's successes and failures, you'll be able to avoid the pitfalls and maximize the opportunities that the world has to offer. We can use such information to further our own education, which is the goal of personal development. Now, I'm not here to tell you what to do. While this book contains a wealth of information, it is ultimately up to you to define and choose your own unique path. I'm just outlining what's possible and letting you know that you can make significant and tangible changes in your own life through the process of personal development and self-education. Keep in mind that you aren't a tree. You are not a motionless object confined to a single location with limited mobility. You can interact with your environment on a high level as a thinking, mobile human with intellect and free will. You can drastically alter your personal philosophy, which was formed through self-education and personal development. These changes can have an impact on the world around you as well as your own life. Your personal philosophy is at the heart of everything. It determines how you will approach opportunity and danger, as well as right and wrong. Your level of success, as well as the legacy you leave behind, will be determined by how you act and interact with the world. Your attitude is a second factor in redefining and strengthening your personal philosophy. It's one thing to recognize that you're a living, breathing being capable of interacting with the outside world, but your attitude is also crucial to your success and happiness. What we know and how we feel have an impact on each of us. Your emotions will influence your decisions in some way, no matter how stoic you are. Your decisions and the paths you choose will be influenced by how you feel about your past and future. Understanding this aspect will help you to strengthen your philosophy and approach. So much of achieving your goals in life necessitates looking back on our past experiences in order to better understand how to proceed in the future. Thinking about where you want to be in the future and projecting yourself there. This process can start with simple steps like writing down what you want from your future. A necessary part of changing your life is taking the time to sit down and write out your goals for the present, the near future, and the distant future. My mentor taught me the importance of taking these steps, and I would even go so far as to say that it is one of the greatest gifts you can give to someone else. It's priceless to teach others the importance of setting goals and working toward them. So take a moment to pause and consider the following. What are your ambitions for yourself? What are your hopes and dreams for your family? What are your goals for your company? What is the maximum amount you are willing to give? How much information are you willing to share? What are your objectives? Are these objectives motivating? How do you feel when you're around them? Remember that asking questions is how we begin to learn about the world around us as well as about ourselves. Andrew Carnegie declared that he would spend the first half of his life making money and the second half giving it all away. That is truly inspiring. Carnegie was so enthralled by his goal that he was able to amass nearly $400 million in the first half of his life, which was a huge sum in those days. He then spent the second half of his life, true to his word and his goal, giving it all away. The main takeaway is that motivations and objectives can be extremely powerful. Reasons and goals can be powerful motivators that change not only your life, but also the lives of those around you and possibly the entire world. So, when it comes to setting goals, don't be afraid to be bold. Take time to reflect on your own experiences, as they can provide a wealth of information and self-education. Then, with your heart full of inspiration, consider what you want to achieve with your life, for yourself, your family, and the world at large. If you try to help others, you can have everything you want in life. If you want to be a powerful and influential leader, you must first acknowledge this universal truth. All of the gifts from all over the world that have been flowing in here have helped to make America the most powerful and unique nation in the last 6,000 years of recorded history. All kinds of people have come to America over the last 400 years, but they have not arrived empty-handed. Instead, these individuals brought with them their own special gifts. This is what has set America apart from any other country in history. Language, freedom, the American work ethic, knowledge in all of its forms, and the gifts of inspiration, vision, and enthusiasm have all combined to make America unique and great. All of these gifts were delivered to this location. That is what distinguishes us. No other country has ever been as rich in knowledge and gifts as America, whether it came from one of the millions of forgotten slaves and indentured servants, or from a nobleman granted a land charter by a king or queen of Europe. Each individual's contribution makes America unique. An enterprise, a nation, or an economy are not built by a single person. To create an economy, we must all work together. Finally, all endeavors require effort. Great achievements, such as establishing a nation from the ground up, are the result of action. One part of the equation is having a strong core philosophy, another is having the right attitude, and the third part is rolling up your sleeves and doing the work required to complete the task. Chapter 6. Measuring Success in Your Financial House. My father instilled in me the value of being debt-free and financially self-sufficient, and I believe that lesson is now more important than ever. Given that debt and its effects on people and nations are front-page news around the world, taking a moment to consider the importance of debt avoidance is time well spent. There are many aspects to achieving financial independence, as well as many faces to it. One of these elements is to become enthusiastic about your work. This is one of the reasons why you should enjoy what you do. You've probably heard that if you enjoy what you're doing, you work harder and be more enthusiastic about your work. This is a great deal of truth. As we discussed in the previous chapter, hard work based on your philosophy is an important part of achieving your goals. We can't just wait for a miracle to happen and change our fortunes, so we must learn to embrace work. Instead, we must all take proactive steps to achieve our objectives. Many people, on the other hand, will work blindly without pausing to consider their progress. Stopping to assess and measure one's progress on a regular basis is essential to success. Setting a goal, as we've seen, is a critical step in achieving your objectives and achieving financial independence. Keeping track of your progress, on the other hand, is critical. If you've ever tried to lose weight, you'll be familiar with this concept. You won't know how well your weight loss strategy is working unless you stop and weigh yourself from time to time to track your progress. Similarly, you will find it difficult to achieve the financial freedom you desire if you do not track your progress. How long do you think your child should spend in fourth grade? Your answer is most likely 1 year. We teach our children to measure time in reasonable increments instinctively. After all, even if you are completely focused, the larger the job, the longer it may take to complete. You can't ask someone to complete a difficult task and then return 5 minutes later to inquire, "How's that going?" Keep this in mind as you go about your own work. This passage of time emphasizes the importance of personal responsibility in the pursuit of success and personal growth. Society does not expect you to do things that will enable you to be financially self-sufficient. For example, society does not expect you to take care of yourself in order to be healthy. Society also does not require you to construct a financial barrier around your family. You are not required to do any of these things by law. All of this boils down to individual responsibility, self-education, and development. You might assume that there is a moral judgment at work here, but this isn't always the case. Consider this: a bad person can make excellent decisions, and a wonderful person can make bad ones. Your moral compass and character do not necessarily indicate whether you will make good or bad decisions. Good people, like everyone else, can have temporary lapses in judgment. Making decisions is more complicated than black and white or left and right thinking. This factor, on the other hand, emphasizes the importance of developing and adhering to your own personal philosophy. Remember that one of the core elements we'll be looking at in this book is the ability to distinguish between danger and opportunity. Chapter 7: 6 Steps to a Life of Extraordinary Achievement. In this final chapter, I'd like to talk about our personal lives and relationships. We talked about communication earlier and how important it is in business, but it's also important to remember that communication is important in your personal life. The more powerful a speaker you are, the more deliberate and measured your words must be. This is a necessary part of living a happy life. In fact, everything we've talked about so far in this book points to being a positive, contributing member of society in some way, living a good life and attempting to assist others, from one's family to one's community to one's country, and, hopefully, the entire world. If you apply the principles of this book to your life, you will be able to live an extraordinary life, one that is both enriching and rewarding for you, and one that will help others prosper and grow as well. But what does it mean to live a good life? Obviously, there are many possible responses to this question. However, I believe that the majority of people will agree with the list that I have compiled. 1. Work hard and be productive. Being productive is the first of our 6 steps to living an extraordinary life. Here's why: unless you're productive, you won't be happy. You produce, which is at the heart of the word productivity. Your goal should be to create something worthwhile and valuable for the rest of the world. Don't undervalue yourself. Instead, strive to provide the best you can for your family and fellow man. When you are producing and being productive, you will feel better about yourself and your life. We all want to feel as if our lives have significance and meaning. Providing for one's family and others in the world is one way to find such meaning and purpose. 2. Relationships of value. The second requirement for living a happy life is having good friends. Collect and cultivate relationships with people who are familiar with you, understand what you stand for, and enjoy your company. Many people view life through the lens of me, and me. However, these people are frequently left sad and alone in the end. When your sole focus is on yourself, it's nearly impossible to form genuine, long-lasting friendships that will withstand the test of time. Those who do not contribute to society frequently pay a high price in the form of loneliness. Medical evidence suggests that having a good relationship can help you live longer. Why not cultivate quality friendships with this in mind? Just make sure that the friendships you do form are positive ones, and that your friends are positive influences in your life. 3. Honor your ancestors. Knowing your culture, heritage, language, and history is the third item on our list. America's greatness is due in part to its diversity. Understanding our ancestors' contributions to this great multicultural and multi-ethnic nature is essential. 4. Spiritual well-being. Remember to devote time to your spiritual well-being. It is critical to devote time to your spirituality and beliefs, regardless of your beliefs. Don't pass up the opportunity to investigate and test those beliefs. This is all part of the process of creating a strong country, families, and communities. It's important to remember that, like commonalities in culture and language, commonalities in beliefs can help societies form strong bonds. It is difficult for societies to maintain a tight and cohesive society over time without these bonds. This shared identity and commonality of experience is what allows communities and countries to thrive and grow. 5. Construct an inner circle. Fifth, cultivate your inner circle and devote time to inspiring your friends and family, as this is critical for a variety of reasons. One of the most important reasons is that your friends and family will inspire you. Having an inner circle of friends and family can also act as a cushion against life's inevitable bumps, bruises, and unforeseen consequences. You may occasionally fail to recognize the difference between danger and opportunity. No matter how careful you are or how hard you try, it's comforting to know that you have friends and family to lean on and rely on when these or other unexpected events occur. Life can be a cold and lonely place otherwise. Many people learn this truth after it is too late. 6. Sow your seeds. Finally, we arrive at the presence of God. Now, I'm no expert on the subject, but I feel compelled to share a couple of thoughts. Consider this: if you plant the seed, I will make the tree. God says, what an incredible setup. God does not expect you to grow a tree. All He asks is that you plant the seed. This is exactly how the self-education and personal development process works. God will take care of the rest if you plant the seed. Thanks to God, there is a whole world out there to assist you. However, in order to witness miracles in our own lives, we must participate. This is the end of this episode. If you're a wisdom seeker and you listen to my podcast, please show your support for my channel by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing for future episodes. Life only gets better if you get better, so keep that in mind. The key to a better future is you.